We are recording now.
Okay.
Okay, hello everyone, hello world. This is a fourth episode of Curious Collaborations, and here I'm talking to my husband, who recently attended my course, my first course ever, which is called Virtual Co-Creation Leader. And we are actually wrapping up that course today, which is the final third week and final day of our course. So Mario.
Hello. Hi, Eva.
Hi. So you had some great experience that I really want you to share with the world during the course and during your first practice session, your first session where you applied the knowledge. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, I most certainly can. So when I joined your course, Virtual Co-Creation Leader, I expected to gain some insights or some methodologies, some tools to help me guide or solve problems at work in a bit more efficient way. But I definitely didn't expect the result and the framework that I received actually. So the first practice session that we had to do, I decided to tackle one pretty old problem, pretty old issue that we had at work. The issue touches on both IT departments and the business side and is facing clients, but nobody wanted to touch it because it seems so complex and complicated and just impossible to solve in with reasonable amount of resources. I said, okay, let's give it a try. So I followed the frameworks and that I've learned on your workshop. I organized the session with some idea, some vague idea of how to solve it in my mind. But what came out of the session was surprising even for me. It was, we solved the problem essentially in 45 minutes. The solution was completely different from what I had in mind. And it was implemented basically the next day. And I was really astonished by that result because it was unexpected on so many levels. Would you like me to go into details on how that session really went?
Yeah, you can tell us a little bit more about who you invited and how many people were there. What did you do specifically in the session?
Okay, so I work in a big investment bank, so we are very limited in technology that we can use, and due to all the confidentiality issues and security issues, data security issues. So I was doomed to use very rudimentary tools, which allowed me just to do a video conferencing and a bit of a scribbling on the screen without actually using those advanced tools from tools like Miro or Euro. But even that was basically enough to engage people. So what I did, I invited people, invited a group, diverse group, representatives from business side and from IT side and from account management side. I invited them to call, I told them, look, it will be a bit different, so get ready for something unexpected. And I prepared sort of a visual representation of our problem. When we started the call, I've explained, look, guys, I would like you to all participate. I have enabled this rudimentary tool that we have. Please put your annotations, circle, mark whatever you think that you have to mark, and whatever you think is wrong or should be correct, and presented them that graphic representation, and they all jump into it. We discussed, we shared, all of us shared, and eventually it was basically like one of those moments when someone hits themselves on a forehead and says, "Oh, that is the solution. That will work. That just removes all the complexity from this problem, and we can tackle it in 1 hour." That happened. I didn't expect it to happen. Definitely didn't. So by the end of the call, we had a clear idea who does what, and basically, half of the things happened the same day. The rest happened the next day. And just put it in perspective, there was a problem that we left untouched for years. And I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. It was untouched for years. We've been aware of it, but nobody wanted to touch it. And we solved it in that workshop. And we had a solution and started to implement it the day after. It was just amazing.
Wow. So yeah, it is amazing for me also to hear that. So to recap, you had a problem that no one wanted to tackle for such a long time, and it was complex from point of view of many people involved.
Yep.
And so what you basically did, just gathered those people, created a visual of that problem, and invited everybody to synchronously contribute their ideas to the solution without you actually saying what your solution is, right?
Yes, I was basically actively stopping myself from showing, because I had a prototype already, my version. I just didn't want to show it to them. I just wanted to, okay, let's just figure out, let's just see what happens. At the
And
end
the
of the day,
solution you got, yeah.
And the solution I got was much better than mine, much more efficient, and much less demanding on resources.
Okay. So what stops usually you or people around you in your environment to work like that?
Probably inexperience, and simply we don't know how to work like that, because it is expected, sort of, it's unwritten assumption that when you have a massive call between 10, 15, 20 people, which is unguided, unstructured, non-graphical, you basically just have a telephone conference, you sort of expect these group of 15 people to reach the solution. And it's not happening because there is no leader, there is no proper method of co-creation implemented. And, I was simply not aware that such methods exist and that they can be implemented.
So how do you feel now after doing this session? Do you want to do it again? Do you want to help more people?
Absolutely. I don't know how to go back. It would be impossible for me to tackle another problem without following these principles, because this simply works fast, works better, works for everyone. Everyone is clear what's going on, what's happening, what needs to happen, and solutions are immediate. So no, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to dull conference calls where nobody actually knows what needs to happen. When one person is talking, the rest of them is going, or reading the news on the side.
Yeah, there is so many of those calls. So that is my mission, and thank you for helping me to reach that mission, to get everybody involved, to co-create something faster, to co-create something better faster. Can you please tell the people what actually course did for you? So it's been 3 weeks, and what did you achieve in those 3 weeks?
Well, in those 3 weeks, I was exposed primarily to framework of how to approach the problem of working in virtual world to co-create. I was exposed to a bunch of different tools, which were amazing, and how to use them and how to utilize them in this co-creation process. But I was also taught that I have to be a leader. Simple as that. If I want something to happen, I have to do it myself. I have to call that meeting. I have to organize it. I have to prepare it, and get those results done. And those practice sessions were great, because all throughout the course there were practice sessions which really tremendously helped. just to get that experience that you can talk, you can draw, you can at the same time talk and capture what's going on, some the main points of that talk. So yeah, it worked.
You can do breakout rooms.
Yeah, you could do breakout rooms.
That was a big mystery.
That was a big mystery, definitely.
Yeah, how to do breakout rooms. Great. I just want to ask you one more question, because you are an engineer and I'm coming from creative side, and we do disagree a lot, and that is basically what our relationship is why it's good, because of that tension and growth that comes from that disagreement. When you say you got creative frameworks or co-creation framework, and you didn't know that exists, what is different from engineering process in this process that we went through?
Well, engineering process, it's hard to define, but the way we were taught at the universities and basically encouraged to work throughout our professional lives was, okay, just follow the already prescribed process that somebody else defined, do it basically yourself, and do not explore, wild ideas. Do not try to engage business or I don't know, some non-engineering people into this process, because they don't have an idea what's going on, and they will just mess it up and just be an obstacle. I guess those are the two main points. Just don't take non-engineering perspectives into account, which is wrong from my experience. I mean, even before this virtual co-creation workshop and the course, I had that insight that a lot of engineers have that, still keep it. But just don't ask non-engineers; they don't understand.
Because we don't know how. People don't know how yet to put diverse teams together and guide them through a process to create something together.
True, and as you also know from our experience, I have a particular mindset which is very hard to move, especially when it comes to technical things. And we engineers and myself included very often forget that these technical solutions are actually made for people and for people to use them. So it's pretty silly to focus on technical side and disregard what's really happening to users. Because if it works technically perfectly, but it doesn't do work for the final user, then it's useless.
Yeah, that's right. So we are changing. I mean, when I was in design field, it was the same thing. Designers are working in silo and they're creating their perfect solutions, not really talking to the end user. So every profession, when it goes into their nitty-gritties, finds themselves really enwrapped in their own work and not really going out to explore opportunities with people who are supposed to be involved in that product or service or whatever is coming out of it. So it's the same, but when you become facilitator, which I now think every professional should be, a facilitator of the process that involves other people and other parties. That is additional skill that we need to add to every professional.
I agree. I definitely agree with that.
So thank you so much. I am really, really happy that you had this great experience and that you're now moving the world into different shape. And you turned around.